co-host as well. Mataji. Do we have Kamala Mataji? Yes. The co-host can unmute themselves at any point, and if they feel like, and if Mataji is there, Mamta Mataji whenever comes, she actually does Mangla Aarti and everything, so she joins a bit late. So yeah. Co-host can unmute anytime. If they feel that I might be missing out on some point, please do let me know. I do not have any issue when you unmute yourself and tell me. I just get distracted when I am telling something, and in the middle you say anything. I mean, anyway. So if you just ensure that I do not miss out on any point, I do not have any problem with anyone saying anything. Right. So chat, I'm not disabling the chat right now. Please do not I make uh, okay. So please do not chat, but I'm not disabling the chat, because what happens now, yesterday we came to know that my sound was not coming only because you all told me, right? So let me not disable the chat. And yeah, let's get started. Let's understand with the fifth chapter. Today is fifth chapter. Again, this is a very beautiful chapter. I feel speechless every now and then, and mm, in this chapter you would learn quite a lot, very much. Yes, it would be very special chapter. So this is Karma Yoga. uh, Karma Yoga we already understood in third chapter. You are repeating it? No. This is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Now this is different. Why is it different, we would explore. But think about expecting the fruits. So there are three kind of people who would be expecting the fruit, right? There are people who are in mode of goodness, who would say that I would plant a tree. Let me plant the tree, and I am planting the tree. How does that matter if I get the fruits or not? But someone would be getting it, right? So let me plant the tree. My children would be getting it. Some other people would be getting it. How does that matter? I am doing good thing. I should just plant tree. Someone who is in mode of passion, he would say, let me plant a tree. Let me plant the tree, but I will enjoy the fruits. If I have planted the tree, it is my right to enjoy the fruits, right? So someone in mode of passion would say that I would enjoy the fruit, right? Someone who is in mode of ignorance, how would he react? He would say, how does that matter who planted the tree? Let me enjoy the benefits now. Let me enjoy the fruits. Someone else has planted it. How does that matter? Let me enjoy the benefits. So he is not interested in planting the tree. He is interested in enjoying the fruits, right? Above these three, again we can understand these are material, and the fourth one is spiritual. Against these three, there is a fourth way. There is a fourth way of understanding. What is that fourth way? A devotee way. Who is a devotee? Who does devotional service unto Krishna. He would think that I plant this tree. I have planted this tree, but Krishna made it grow. If Krishna would not have supplied enough sunlight, enough water, or some wild animal might have come, some wild animal might have come, he might have destroyed the tree altogether, right? A devotee would feel, please do not chat unnecessarily. My video is stuck. Okay. Let me on and now it must be clear. A devotee would feel that I planted this tree, but Krishna made it grow. I did not made it grow. Krishna supplied water, Krishna supplied sunlight, Krishna protected it, right? Krishna made it grow. And I would offer the fruits of the tree, whatever it has resulted into, I would offer it to Krishna only. And if Krishna so wish, If Krishna so wishes, I would enjoy the fruits as well. But I would enjoy only if Krishna wishes. If Krishna does not wish, I do not want to enjoy. Right? So this is how a devotee would feel. Now I would come back to this slide, but let's understand. This is most important slide. This is the most important slide of the day. What is Krishna consciousness? What is Krishna consciousness? So let's understand first. This is from the book of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The aim of Krishna consciousness movement is to bring all living entities back to original consciousness. Now we saw before the start of the class, we saw one kirtan, right? Many of you joined and heard that kirtan, and you were really very happy, isn't it? You did not want that to end. You were jumping from your seat and you were happily singing kirtan. Now, who were those who were singing kirtan there? Those were the people who had never heard. Most of them never heard about Krishna before. Now, think of any music that you have heard. For the first time you are hearing that music, could you jump off your chair and sing with that music? Has it ever happened? No. First you hear, okay, what is the song? Let me hear. After second or third time, you feel like, yes, this song is good. But when you hear about Krishna, you're jumping off even when you don't know who is Krishna. Because intrinsically, we all know who Krishna is. There is no soul who does not know who Krishna is. Intrinsically, we all know who Krishna is. So, what does Srila Prabhupada says? The aim of Krishna consciousness movement is to bring all living entities back to original consciousness. Okay, you know who Krishna is. Now you understand who Krishna is. You have forgotten. Now you understand. Right? This is the motive behind the Krishna consciousness movement. All living entity within the material world are to varying different afflicted by the madness, with the type of madness. So what is this madness? This madness is being played by the three modes of material nature, right? We are played by the three modes of material nature, and we have many defects, and we turn to be wrong person. Despite not trying, we turn out to be wrong person. The Krishna consciousness movement is to curing the material desire. We have bad desires, we have unlimited desires for our own senses. Now, by now we are able to understand that if we are feeding our senses, it is unlimited, this one unlimited desire, and you would never be able to feed, right? You would never be able to feed. The Krishna consciousness movement aims at curing the material desire and re-establishing the original consciousness. So you had that understanding. Krishna consciousness movement would bring back that original understanding. Now, let's understand from Srila Prabhupada's words once again. Everything written in this slide is of Srila Prabhupada only. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. So we do not discriminate. Anyone could be chanting Krishna's name. Anyone could be singing Krishna Kirtan. We do not discriminate, and everyone is getting this opportunity. Everyone is invited to join the movement, sit with us, take prasada, and hear about Krishna. This is all we do. We are not charging anything. We are not charging anything for you join this course. Did we charge you anything? No, we did not charge you anything. We are not charging anything. We are giving, you give me fee, I shall give some secret mantra, and within 6 months, you will become God. Now, there are enough people in this society who would say, I would make you God, I would make you God, I would make you God. But does Srila Prabhupada say so? Now comes the important point that spiritual master matters. A spiritual master matters. And who should be bona fide spiritual master? Who should be right spiritual master that we should seek? Now, if we are going to the wrong doctor, suppose I have some fever, right? I have some fever, I have some other disease, right? And if I go out to some doctor, let's say I go out to dentist. I go out to dentist when I have fever. Would he give me right medicine? No. He is not expert in that. But I'm going to the wrong person. Now we need to reach out to the right person. Na? We know through uh, this this one Shukracharya's example. Shukracharya, we heard na Bali Maharaj Shukracharya. Shukracharya was not the right spiritual master. Was not a bona fide spiritual master. What did happen? If Bali Maharaj would have heard Shukracharya, he would have fallen. He would have fallen. He got a very beautiful opportunity that Vaman Deva came to beg to Bali Maharaj, right? So we should have right spiritual master to guide us. What does he say? No, it is not. No, we do not want you to become God in 6 months. Also, it is open for everyone, even child. You all are children, right? Even women, even girls, even boys, even old, everyone can take part, chant, and see the result. Now, I have requested all of you to chant. I've requested all of you to chant. I don't know how many of you are chanting. If you're not chanting, please chant. I have given you this shared in the group that you should be chanting at least 21 times. At least 21 times you can chant. It would not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. You should chant, right? Thereafter, if you are a little serious, you should chant 108 times, right? 108 times would not take you more than 7 to 10 minutes. Uh, Someone who is an expert would take 7.5 minutes. Someone who does not know, who is joining for the first time, who is chanting for the first time, it may take as much as 10 minutes, not more than that. Yes. So everyone can take a chant and see the result. That is our request. This is Krishna consciousness movement. This is universal movement, right? Now think of this. This boy plants the tree and expect that if that fruit is coming, this is Krishna's mercy. This is Krishna's mercy. But all those who are hearing us, all those who have joined, are not we really lucky? Are not we very, very lucky? Isn't it? We are here in Gaudiya Parampara, Gaudiya Sampradaya. We are very, very fortunate that we got the right spiritual master. We got bona fide spiritual master who is instructing us the right thing, right? Because there are a lot of places where you would understand wrong things. Now, are we telling you any wrong thing? No. Are we telling you from scriptures? Yes. Whatever I have shared, I've shared it from scripture. Whenever I do not speak from a scripture, I purposefully mention it. This is my understanding, right? So everything that I'm talking about is from scriptures, right? So we are not making up things from our own understanding. We are talking scripture. Whatever is mentioned in the scripture, we are talking that. And we have bona fide spiritual master, right? We have Srila Prabhupada telling us all these things. I am not telling all these things. Srila Prabhupada gave me this intelligence to talk about it, right? And it is Srila Prabhupada's words. And uh, yesterday we understood that how we should be surrendering on to the spiritual master. How we should be humble enough to surrender on to spiritual master, right? We understood this yesterday. Yeah. So I think everything is now clear. Everything is clear. What is Krishna consciousness movement, and why we are very, very fortunate, and how we should be thinking, right? So let's continue. This is 5.1, and who wants to chant this? Kirtana. I see just Kirtana. Okay, Kirtana. Yeah.
अर्जुनोवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेययेतो एकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्.
Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now Krishna is saying two different things, or Arjuna is understanding two different things. I should say it this way. Yeah. Arjuna understands that Krishna is first saying that you should renounce work. Then Arjuna feels that Krishna is saying that you should work with devotion. Now, would you kindly tell which of the two is more beneficial? So, is it renouncing work, or is it working with devotion? What should we be doing? What should we be doing? Right? So, let's understand. Arjuna is confused. Arjuna is confused between two situations. Should I stop sowing the tree, or should I stop expecting the result, expecting the fruit? Should I stop doing the work? Should I stop expecting the result? Right? Uh, Hare Krishna, till not ask. If I'm not asking, please do not answer. Please do not answer in the chat box. It's completely fine that you want to answer, but do not answer because confusion would arise. So, what is good? Should I stop sowing the tree, or should I stop expecting the result? I'm very much confused. Arjuna feels that way. Arjuna makes us feel that way. Yes. Now Krishna is saying this. Who would chant this? Lakshmi.
श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासकर्मयोगस्य निःश्रेयसाकरयुभाहव तयस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासत् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते.
Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. Okay, Krishna is saying that, okay, both are good, but of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Okay, so we got to know what Krishna wants actually to us to do. So there are two things. There are renunciation of work and work with devotion. So what we should be doing? We should be doing work with devotion. Krishna says we should be doing work with devotion. Simple, right? Now, yeah. So just sometimes mm, um, we actually turn out to be very fortunate to be connected, right? So we all understood how fortunate we are all. So but today somebody joined on the birthday. Supreet is today with us on the birthday itself, and he's getting to know about Krishna on his birthday. So this is really very very fortunate, right? um, mm, on special days, if something good happens, you are not able to forget, right? And whenever you connect with Krishna, that is always fortunate, right? So welcome to the movement, welcome to understanding Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So Krishna says, sowing the tree is your duty. In the first slide, remember, sowing the tree is your duty. You should sow your duty. You should not think like I should not sow the tree, but but do it for me. Do it for me, and I would take care of the fruit for you. Suppose you sow the tree, but it does not result into any fruit. It does not result into any fruit. What would be there? What is the renunciation of work? Okay, renunciation of work means doing no work. I do not want to do any work, right? So there are two options. What are those two options? One, I do not do any work, or two, I work with devotion. What is Krishna recommending? Work with devotion. What is Krishna saying? Do it for me. Don't do it for yourself. When you are doing it for yourself, you would be serving your own senses, right? But when you are doing it for Krishna, it is Krishna who would take care of us. Like, think like a 2-year-old child. Think like we all are 2-year-old child, not more than 2 years. Now, we should We should close our eyes and we should always trust our Father, right? Our Father would take care of us. Who is Krishna? Krishna is our father's father, father's father, right? Krishna says that do it for me. I love you, na. I would take care of you. I would take care of you. You cannot take care of yourself. Like a 2-year-old child cannot take care of his own self, you cannot take care of yourself. I can take care of you. Do it for me, and I would take care of you. Right? Because there are a few problems that we would be having answers, but there would be a lot of problems that we would never have answers to. We would never have answers to a lot of problems. How could we answer a lot of problems? There would be a lot of challenging problems that we would never get answered. Krishna is just saying that do it for me and I would take care of you. Right? Do not do it for yourself. When we are doing it for ourselves, we turn into mode of passion or mode of ignorance. Right? Do it for me. Rather than you can think of mode of goodness, and slowly from mode of goodness you should reach out to spiritual work, right? Let me go back to the first slide. It would be simple for you. So you should forget this is really bad. Krishna says that you must plant the tree. So this is wrong. This is wrong. He is not planting the tree. This is wrong. This this is he is planting the tree, but he is doing it for himself. Now he would be enjoying his own senses. He's doing it because he wants to enjoy, right? This too is uh, better than this. This is absolutely bad. This is absolutely bad. This is okay, but this too is not recommended. This is good. This is good, but the best is this one. Best is this one. If you want best, you can do it this one, right? You should plant the tree, but you should not expect the fruits of the tree. You should offer it to Krishna, and if so Krishna wishes, you should take it, right? So that should be the approach. Krishna himself is saying, do it for me and I would take care of your fruit for you, right? Now think of this. A non-devotee feels that I earned so much, so this is mine. A devotee feels it is all Krishna's mercy. Krishna wanted me to have money, so I'm having money. If Krishna does not want me to have money, I would not be having money. Right? He is happy. Even if he is not having money, he is happy. Even if he is having money, he is very, very happy. Because why? Because his father gave him money. He's like a 2-year-old child. Always remember this. This would make things very, very clear. He's a 2-year-old child. He does not want to employ his mind over this. He does not want to engage his mind, right? It is Krishna's wish now. It is my father's wish that I want to have money. If my father wants me to have money, I would be having money. If my father does not want me to have money, I would not be having money, right? So what are we supposed to do for Krishna? We are supposed to do devotional services for him. Yes. Please do not chat. Please do not chat. If you have question, you may ask at the end. Yeah. So who would chant this? This is shloka. It became very, very clear, na? Very simple, isn't it? Abha and Abhay.
योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियाः सर्वभूतामभूतामा कुर्वान् अपि न लिप्यते.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Yeah, please mute yourself.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Yeah, please mute yourself. Every time you sing, please mute yourself. I would have to. Yeah. Once you do, please mute yourself. Else the background noise comes now, and I get distracted. I get distracted quite a lot. So one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone. Everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such man is never entangled. We heard about that entanglement. Everyone remembers that entanglement cycle, na? Entanglement cycle. Jan, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age disease, birth, death, old age disease, right? Such a man is never entangled. Such a man is never entangled in this cycle. So, what does Krishna recommend? Krishna recommends that you have to work in devotion. Now, what are those criteria? You have to work in devotion. At the same time, you have to have a pure soul, and you must control your mind and senses. What is the best way of doing controlling mind and senses? We again have heard this. What is the best way? Dedicate it to Krishna, devote it to Krishna, think about Krishna with our mind, intelligence, and senses, isn't it? So we should devote our mind, intelligence, and senses onto Krishna. We should do work with devotion, and we should have a pure soul. This is very simple. Now, what does Krishna recommend? Krishna is saying everyone is dear to him. Who becomes that kind of a person? Who becomes close to Krishna? If we are close to Krishna, then everyone would be dear for us. Else, we would have a lot of challenges. But when we are dear to Krishna, everyone would embrace us, right? So, uh, if we are working like that, we are not entangled. Okay, this was very beautiful. Let's understand. So, this is about Ambarish Maharaj. Uh, so, Ambarish Maharaj was a purest devotee of Krishna. Let me tell you this story. Thereafter, I would explain once. Ambarish Maharaj was a purest devotee of Krishna. Just a minute, I'm check for some. No. Ambarish Maharaj was a purest devotee of Krishna. Now, Ambarish Maharaj used to do many devotional services onto Krishna. Right? He used to do observe Ekadashi fasting. Ekadashi happens twice a month, and on those Ekadashi days, we fast. We do not eat grain. Some people do not eat, drink water as well, right? Some people do not eat other food. So there are other different ways of doing Ekadashi fasting. So Ambarish Maharaj did not even drink water. He did not eat anything, he did not drink anything, and he used to do devotional service onto Krishna. Right? On the Ekadashi day, he would just do devotional service and he would be very happy. On the following day, on the next day, on the Dwadashi, right? This is about Ekadashi. On the Dwadashi, what happens? We have to break our fast within a stipulated time. There is a time period within which we have to break the fast, right? We cannot exceed that time. If we exceed that time, the benefit of doing Ekadashi does not accrue. It would not come, right? So we have to break the fast within a particular time, right? So this Ambarish Maharaj was doing Ekadashi Vrat, but on the Dwadashi, when he was about to break one day, Durvasa Muni came. Durvasa Muni came on the Dwadashi day, right? On the Dwadashi day, he came along his followers, and what happened? Uh, he told Ambarish Maharaj that I would be having food with you. I would be having food with you, right? Today is fast breaking day, so I would be having food with you. But let me go to the river and I would bathe and I would come back, right? Ask your this one. Ask your mm, this your staffs to prepare food for me, right? Ask your staffs to prepare food for me, and we would be having food together. Now, Ambarish Maharaj was waiting for Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni went to have this bath in the river, and Ambarish Maharaj was waiting. He was waiting. But Durvasa Muni did not come. Now, the time for breaking the fast was going. right? He must break the fast within a stipulated time. But Durvasa Muni did not come. Now, when Durvasa Muni did not come, he thought that if I am not breaking the fast within this time period, the benefit would not come. So let me drink water. I would not eat anything. Durvasa Muni said that we would be eating together. Okay, we would be eating together, but but let me just drink water. I would be drinking water. I would not eat anything. So he drank water. Now, Durvasa Muni is a mystic yogi. He knows a lot of things that a normal person would not know. He understood that Amrish Maharaj drank water. He became very furious. How did you drink water? I told you to wait. You did not wait for me. Right? He came in a very angry mode and he took some hairs out of his head and he threw the hairs and a demon was created. A big giant demon came, and this giant demon was came only to kill Ambarish Maharaj. This big giant came, and this giant wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj. Now, what happened? As this giant came, Ambarish Maharaj was a purest devotee of Krishna. He just surrendered onto Krishna and said, Krishna, I have done everything for you. I have broken the fast also for you. You say that we have to break our fast within a stipulated time. If this Durvasa Muni would not have come, my benefit of doing fasting would not have accrued. If you so wish, if you so wish, I am happy to die. If you want, please protect me. So Ambarish Maharaj did not say that please protect me, please protect me. No, no, no. If you say I'm happy to die, if you wish, please protect me. Right? So Krishna sent personally Sudarshan Chakra to kill the demon. That Sudarshan Chakra killed the demon. And that Sudarshan Chakra went for Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni was nearby only. He killed the demon. The Sudarshan Chakra killed the demon. And thereafter, he ran to this Sudarshan Chakra was running towards Durvasa Muni. Now, Durvasa Muni was fearing for his life because Sudarshan Chakra was chasing him. Durvasa Muni felt, what could I do? Thereafter, he went, he ran, and went to Shiva, went to Brahma. Everyone refused, went to Narayana, went to Krishna himself in the Narayana Loka, right? And there is a very beautiful pictorial presentation, this one, pictorial graphic, wherein there are many Narayana, many extension of Narayana in the Narayana Loka, right? So Krishna is inconceivable. We could not understand Krishna, and Krishna's power are inconceivable. We could not understand how Krishna does anything, right? In the Narayana Loka, he has many extensions. So what happened in the Narayana Loka? This Sudarshan Chakra went along with this Durvasa Muni was running and Sudarshan Chakra was following, and this this Durvasa Muni first went to different demigods, went to Shiva, went to Brahma. They refused. No, no, no. I would not help. Go. I would not help. Go. So first they refused. Thereafter he went to Narayana. Narayana himself, Krishna himself told. What did Krishna tell him? Even I would not help you. I can, but I would not help you. Why did you offend my devotee? He's the purest devotee, na? He's doing good devotional service, na? Why did you offend him? Did he do anything wrong? Now, I would not help you. What should you do? You go to the Ambarish Maharaj's feet and you seek forgiveness from him. If he forgives, I would forgive. Otherwise, this Sudarshan Chakra would kill you. So he ran, Durvasa Muni ran for his life and went into the feet of Ambarish Maharaj and begged for forgiveness. Ambarish Maharaj thereafter, this is that picture only, this is Sudarshan Chakra. Ambarish Maharaj thereafter, he requested Sudarshan Chakra, please do not kill Durvasa Muni, please do not kill Durvasa Muni, please forgive him. Thereafter, Sudarshan Chakra bent. So Krishna takes care of his devotee personally. Krishna takes care of his devotee personally. He takes personal enjoyment in saving the devotees. Yes. So who would here read this? Mukesh.
विद्या विनय संपन्नी बरमने कवि हस्तनी सुनी का कईव स्वापके का पंडिता समादर दर्शिना.
Yeah. So the humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, by humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision. He has equal vision towards a learned, a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. What does this mean? He does not discriminate the good and the bad. Huh? You do not discriminate. If you do not discriminate, good and bad are both equal. Let me read once again. I did not understand this one. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision, a learned, a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, a donkey. So his love is same. Look, this is very important. His love is same, but the treatment is different. Now, suppose this is a learned person. He looks like a learned person, right? He is a learned person. He is humble sage. Now he would see with equal vision everyone around, because in everyone there is soul. In everyone there is soul, and if anyone has soul, he is part and parcel of Krishna only, right? So he would see Krishna everywhere. He would see Krishna everywhere. In this he would see Krishna. In this he would see Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. But his treatment would be different. He would go and embrace this another Brahmana, but he would not embrace this dog. There is a street dog, and you just embrace him, he would bite you, right? You don't know him, that dog you don't know, and he would bite you. He would love this cow, not he would love this cow very very much, but he could not love this elephant so much, right? He has the same love. He has the same love, but he is exhibiting his love differently, right? Now, what does this mean? It just means one thing. You do not have division based upon your birth. A humble sage would not have division based upon the birth, because he would see in everything Krishna. He would not have distinct vision towards each and everything based on the birth, right? Yes. Let's understand. Who would chant this now? Gitika?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what's first one, sir?
Bhuktaram.
Bhuktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvalokamaheshwaram Surdhanam Sarva Bhutanam Natvamam Santim.
Rachati.
That's
Yeah. So a person in full consciousness, please mute yourself. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifice and austerity, the supreme lord of all planet and demigod, the benefactor of all well-wisher and entity, attains peace from the pangs of material misery. What is the pangs of material misery? Pangs of material misery is again nothing but the three modes of material nature. Okay, so Krishna says something which means I would not be affected by the three modes of material nature, but what we have to do for him. A person who is full consciousness of me. Krishna is himself saying that we should be Krishna conscious. Okay, we should be Krishna conscious. One, knowing me to the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerity. So Krishna is himself saying that even if you do sacrifice for any other demigod, na, the ultimate beneficiary is me only. Again, this would be revealed in later chapters, but for now, understand whatever Krishna says, accept it, right? So Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary of all the sacrifices. Whatever sacrifice that we may do, Krishna is the beneficiary. And austerity, right? Supreme of all planet and demigod. Krishna is the supreme of all planet and demigod. He is the benefactor and well-wisher of all the entities. Krishna is the benefactor as well as well-wisher. We would not be, if we think like this, na, we would not be affected by the three modes of material nature. We would always be in the spiritual plane, right? We would always think spiritually. And if we are thinking spiritually, we would not be affected by the three modes of material nature. Let them play. Let the three modes of material nature play, but they would not play with me. If I'm thinking about Krishna all the time, if I'm thinking it right way, then the three modes of material nature would not play with me. Right? So look at this. This is a very good again representation. So suppose I make a very good home. I make a very good home. I invested a lot of money. I invested a lot of time into this, but this home breaks. Something happens and this home breaks. If he is not a devotee, what would he feel? This was my home. This was my home. Yeah, Baswa Rajappa, and we have one more, Manvita. Please do not feel like I do not take names of yours. Uh, mm, in fact, Baswa Rajappa, I have taken names, I believe, yesterday only. Do not feel like I do not have partiality. I do not have partiality. If I see someone who is on the screen, I take the name. Or while chanting a shloka, at times I prefer sometimes when the shloka is hard, I prefer someone who knows how to chant a shloka. Right? There are a few kids who knows perfectly how to chant a shloka, so I prefer them. It's not like I do any favor. No, no, no. Why would I do any favor? So do not feel offended. Do not feel like I am not taking your name. I take everyone's name. For me, everyone is same, right? All of us have joined only for one reason. Na? We have joined to talk about Krishna, right? So that is important. Yes, please do not chat right now. Please do not chat. Yes, yeah. So if he's a non-devotee, what would he feel? Oh, I created so much and this house broke. Yes, this is the way he would think. Na? He would be pensive all the time. He would think, he would have tension, he would have depression, he would feel like why this has happened to me. Now we would see very good pastime where why it has happened to me would be explained in very good detail, right? Why this has happened to me. Someone who is a devotee, he would feel, I trust Krishna's plan. Krishna has done this, and I'm happy because Krishna has done this. Right? Whatever Krishna does is good. Maybe Krishna wants me to have bigger home, new home, or maybe something bad might be happening in this home. So Krishna wanted this to happen. I'm more than happy. Right? We trust Krishna. We depend upon Krishna. Note this three words: depend upon Krishna. I depend upon Krishna. From today, you start saying this. I depend upon Krishna. I do not depend upon anything else. I depend upon Krishna. Right? So yes, let's see. So this is Pandava suffered so much. Pandava were true devotee of Krishna, right? They had to go to forest. They were not given their kingdom. They had to do austerities. Why so much of this one suffering? Why so much of suffering? They were pure devotees of Krishna, but why so much suffering? Now, there are two parts to it. First part is that devotees do not feel devotees do not feel please devotees do not feel that their suffering when they are suffering for Krishna, their suffering is bad. They do not feel. They feel that if I have to suffer for Krishna, na, it is good. Look at how Kunti Maharani said her prayers. Kunti Maharani said in her prayer that if I have to suffer to remember you, Krishna, I'm more than happy to suffer. Their suffering is not like our suffering. Please do not chat in the chat box. Please do not. I would mute. Yeah. Please do. Yeah. What was I saying? Devotees do not feel that their suffering is suffering, right? Their suffering is actually their glorification. Now, Ambrish Maharaj suffered. Ambrish Maharaj was a purest devotee. He did not do anything wrong. He was almost killed by Durvasa Muni, and he was really happy, right? He was even worshipping when he was about to die with that demon. Only then Krishna sent Sudarshan Chakra, right? But despite of this, he was glorified for this pastime, right? He did not actually suffer. He felt very happy. He felt very happy doing it for Krishna, right? So devotees do not suffer. They do not feel like I am suffering. They feel like I am very much happy. Krishna has chosen me. Krishna has chosen me for this work. So one, they do not suffer. Second, there is one more understanding wherein when devotees suffer, when devotees suffer, hmm, they it is like melting of gold. When you melt gold, na, gold has a lot of impurities. Gold has a lot of impurities, but you when you melt gold at higher temperature, what happens? All the impurities subsides, right? The impurities get aside. Gold becomes pure, and we see a pure gold coming. Now, for pure gold to come, we have to melt it. Similarly, for the best of devotees to come, they have to go through difficult times. Right? Krishna does not say that when you would be worshipping Meena, you would not go through difficult times. Krishna does not say. Krishna says that yeah, times would come difficult, but then be prepared, have devotional service onto me, and you would be more than happy having any kind of this one uh, uh, this suffering, right? There is one more beautiful way of understanding it, and Srila Prabhupada mentions it. So suppose there is a daughter-in-law coming to any house, right? Suppose daughter-in-law does something wrong. Now, suppose this mother there is mother-in-law, there's mother-in-law, and he wants to correct his daughter-in-law, right? Suppose you are doing anything wrong, what should our mother and father do? They should correct us, right? If they are not correcting us, how would we know that we have done something wrong? So they should correct us. So what does this mother-in-law do? Mother-in-law does not scold that daughter-in-law, because daughter-in-law is new to the home, right? This mother-in-law would not scold that daughter-in-law. What this mother-in-law would do, mother-in-law in turn would scold her own daughter. She would scold her own daughter. Why? You don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that. Right? Suppose her daughter-in-law made some food, right? And she did not add something. She did not add some spice. Now, this mother-in-law would scold her daughter, saying that daughter, even you don't know this. I have not told you this, that you should be adding this spice. Now, what would that daughter feel? Ah, this mother-in-law is scolding her daughter because she should have added that spice. Now, I have made it. She did not made it. I have made it. Then I should be adding the spice, right? This is an indirect way of doing right thing, right? Similarly, when devotees suffer, their suffering is actually for our benefit. When we see them, we benefit. Now we see that a devotee, these associates of Krishna suffer happily. They suffer happily for us to do the right thing. We are doing the right thing only when we see them suffering, right? Else we would say that why bad thing happened to me? I am doing all the good thing. Why bad thing is happening to me, right? But these devotees are there who show by their own example that we are suffering. We are suffering. Why? Why? To get you understand the right thing, right? So they do not suffer for their own suffering. They suffer for us to understand. Like Arjuna was there in Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Arjuna wanted us to understand. Arjuna could have understood in 1 second, right? He wanted us to understand. Now, this is his Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, and he's doing Sankirtana on this Jagannath Rath Yatra, right? Now, we are talking about Jagannath Baladeva Subhadra. This is bonus. This is bonus that I have added. Now, I'm clearing hands. I want to know how many of you do not know. How many of you do not know about Jagannath Baldev Subhadra? Please raise your hand. It is completely fine that you do not know. I would get an understanding. So, yeah, some of us do not know. Yes. Okay. So you would understand a very beautiful story. Let me continue. Right. So I may overshoot by 5 minutes, not more than that. So let me continue first. So this is Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. In the screen itself, it is mentioned Jagannath is no other than Krishna. Baldev or Balbhadra, there is another name. Balbhadra is no other than Balram, and Subhadra is the sister of Krishna and Balram. Right. So let's go to Dwarka. Krishna is in Dwarka. Now I have told na in Krishna Loka, Krishna has many extensions. So Krishna can extend many ways, and Krishna is inconceivable. Now, similarly, there is an inconceivable fact that Krishna had 16,108 wives, and they were in Dwarka. Krishna was in Dwarka with 16,108 wives. Now, what used to happen that for 16,108, there would be different extension of Krishna. Now, can you extend? Can you extend yourself? Can you make? I see on my screen Ameya. Can Ameya make another Ameya? No, na. Ameya is just one. Ameya Harve is just one, right? But Krishna can extend himself. Krishna can extend himself unlimitedly. There have been many pastimes where Krishna has extended. Krishna has showed this. So Krishna extends. And with 16,108 wives, there are different Krishna, but Krishna would be there in Dwarka, but he would be thinking, he would be meditating. What he would be meditating upon? He would be meditating upon the pastimes of Vrindavana. Now, in Vrindavana, he would be thinking about Mother Yashoda, he would be thinking about Nanda Maharaj, he would be thinking about Gopas, Gopis, right? So there would be a lot of things Krishna would be thinking. These would be the Leelas of Krishna that he would be thinking, right? Now, these wives used to think that why is Krishna so meditating upon all these things? We all are sitting here. Krishna does not talk about us. Krishna meditates about the pastimes of Vrindavan, right? So there was just one person who could have told them what actually happened in Vrindavana. So it was Rohini Mata. It was Rohini Mata. Now, Rohini Mata saw Krishna, right? And Rohini Mata knew whatever was happening out there. So, Rohini Mata knew, but Rohini Mata was not telling. She was saying that, no, I would not tell. Do not ask me. I would not tell. I would not tell. She would always say, I would not tell. One day, Rohini Mata said, okay, if you want me to tell na, I have a one condition. Ask Subhadra, ask the sister of Krishna and Balram to sit on the door. She stays at the door. She if she says that I would not let Krishna and Balram enter, I would tell you about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavana. So Subhadra agreed, and Subhadra stayed at the door, and this Rohini Mata started. Rohini Mata started talking about the pastime of Krishna, and they were so ecstatic, they were not able to believe. Think about something Krishna meditates upon. Krishna is feeling that joy to think about the pastime, and they were talking about it. These were talking about the pastimes of Krishna, and Subhadra was hearing, and Subhadra was at the door, but she was trying to hear, and then Krishna and Balram came. But think about this: if Krishna wants something to happen, is it possible that it would not happen? Is it possible? No. If Krishna wants something to happen, it would happen, right? And Krishna and Balram wanted to hear. Krishna and Balram wanted to hear what Rohini Mata was saying. So they went, they in fact forced Subhadra Maharani to join her. And all the three were going together, and they said that, okay, we would be standing at the door. We would be standing just outside the door, and they would never know that we are standing. So what happened, as Krishna was hearing the pastimes from Mother Rukmani, his eyes became big. They all were stunned. They were ecstatic, and they were not able to believe. They were unmoved, right? And these what happened, their eyes became started becoming very big, their hands became shrinking, right? And this form of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra was formed. They were so ecstatic. No, we were not able to believe what was happening. And there came Narada Muni. Narada Muni always comes at the right place at the right time, every time, every time, every time, right? So Narada Muni said, oh my Lord, this form of yours is so beautiful. This is so merciful. If you so wish, I want this form of yours to be instated somewhere, right? So after this event, there was King Indradumna. Uh, Indradumna was instructed by Krishna himself that I want a temple to be constituted. I want a temple to be constituted.
Excuse me, Prabhuji, it is Indrajumna.
Yeah, I'm saying that only, Indradumna, whatever. So he wanted this Krishna told that this temple to be constructed, right? And Vishwakarma was there. Vishwakarma, who was Vishwakarma? Vishwakarma was the architect of Devatas. He constructed many things for Devatas, so he was very qualified person, Vishwakarma. So Indradumna king was asked by Krishna himself to construct this one, to make one temple. And Indradumna's king said that, okay, I would be working, but I would work on one condition. I have one condition. Indradumna was a king. He felt he is making condition to me. Let's hear what is the condition. I would work so long as I am not disturbed. I am working, no one should come and disturb me. If anyone comes and disturbs me, I would stop my work then and there itself. Indradumna accepted it. And what happened after this? The gates were closed. There was a closed gate, and there was a big room which was given. And thereafter, this work started. Work started to make deities of Krishna, right? So mm, every day this noise would be coming of his instruments, and one day suddenly the noise stopped. The noise stopped, and they were not able to understand what happened. This queen felt that this Vishwakarma is there. Is he doing it properly, or is he in any kind of difficulty? Because he's locked in the room. If he's any kind of difficulty, would he be able to tell us this? I don't know. She was very upset about this, and she wanted to see if Vishwakarma was all right. So they opened the gate to see if Vishwakarma was all right. As soon as they opened the gate, Vishwakarma said that I told you that if you disturb my work, I would go. You came, you disturbed, I'm going. Vishwakarma went, and King Indradumya was crying. He was crying like anything. No, no, my lord asked me to create one deity of his. He wanted one temple to be constructed. He wanted this deity to be installed. And what did I do? I disturbed his work. And what should I do now? He was crying. He was crying day in and out. And Krishna came personally to tell him, no, 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 Indragumya Maharaj, you should not be crying. You should not be crying. I want this deity, whatever deity he has made, I want this deity to be installed only. You install this deity. So this is merciful Krishna. Another pastime was Krishna was in Kurukshetra. Krishna was in Kurukshetra, and Vrindavana people, I would take another 2 to 3 minutes. Not more. Vrindavana people came there in Kurukshetra to meet Gopas. These Gopas and Gopis came. Gopis wanted to meet Krishna, and they said, this Dwarka Krishna, this form of yours, wherein you are the king, is very beautiful. There's no doubt on that. But I do not appreciate. We do not appreciate. We do not like this form of yours, because it has you have many opulence. In fact, you are most beautiful among all anyone in the universe. But we do not want this form of yours. We want that Gopala form of yours. We want that pastime of yours, wherein you were there in Vrindavan with all of us, right? Can we not see that form of yours? You are the king. We do not want this king. We want that personal form where we connected very closely with you. Is it not possible? They were very pensive. They thought like, no, 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 Krishna, please, I want to see that form. So Krishna's Jagannath Rath Yatra is pulled from temple, which is Gundicha, to from temple to Gundicha. Now Gundicha represents Vrindavana. Why is it pulled to Gundicha? It is pulled to Gundicha only because gopis wanted to see Krishna in that form. Right? So Krishna is all merciful, and whatever devotees wishes, Krishna does it. Krishna works for his devotees. Krishna works for his devotees. Yes. So this was about Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra, and there are a lot of pastimes, in the temple of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, in the Jagannath Puri, which are inconceivable, which are not proven by any, which could not be understood by any scientific mind. So we were talking about science, na? No scientific mind could understand those things. So this is about Krishna. Because it is about Krishna, there would be something or the other which is inconceivable. You would not be able to understand about Krishna completely.